There are reports claiming that Ruben Amorim's arrival at Manchester United might be delayed because of a work permit. This is a breaking update that has just come through from decent sources. Chris Wheeler was the first to report it, and then later Ben Jacobs did sort of confirm the same thing that Ruben Amorim is expected to join Manchester United, of course, tomorrow, like it was announced weeks ago that he was a replacement and will be starting on the November. But the issue is he might not be able to conduct training until maybe the second week of the international break because of visa or rather work permit restrictions, because the processes seem to be taking longer than they expected, whereas they announced him long time ago. They seem to have failed to secure his documentations to start working as the head coach of Manchester United in time. So that is a fear that has just been reported. Now, of course, it's my job to come here and give you some of these things so that they don't shock you when they arrive. That's the commitment I made to myself and to you who subscribed and, of course, who watches our videos. So this is the latest that has come in. And it's of course it's not a big deal because honestly we know that during the international break some players will go for their national teams. Players like Hoyland, maybe Eriksen, they will join the Denmark national team. A couple of players are going to be out with their national teams. The others who want to go most probably will be staying at Carrington. Maybe those who are working on their fitness to work with the fitness doctors to stay fit, while others might actually be given days off. So there might not be so many players for him to work with at Carrington during the international break. So maybe that's the only advantage. So the fear might not be so huge, but you can never know what could happen. But that's what we hear. He could still arrive in England. He should be in England tomorrow after their game against Braga. By the time I came here, Braga was leading 2-0. They were in the second half, but he could be already in England, but not able to step on the touchline and manage the players as they work on the documentation. Those are the rules of the game. Of course, for you to work in a foreign country, you need a certain number of papers for you to be given that green light to proceed with your work. So that's a bit of a fear. Now, what would that mean? We know that Ruud van Nistelrooy's time as interim manager has ended with the 4 games. So if Amorim is not able to work, definitely even his backroom staff won't. The same process he goes through is the same process the backroom staff, that is largely full of Portuguese, will be going through. So what then does that mean? There must be someone at the time. It cannot be there without a clear communication of who is handling things. So either Ineos will maybe talk to Ruud van Nistelrooy to stick around for a bit in the interim capacity, maybe for a short time, for a little bit until the documentation is in, or they could do everything in their power to quicken the process and ensure that maybe by close of business, in tomorrow, the day after, they have secured the work permit. But that cannot be entirely up to them. But of course, you know that when you've got the money, when you're a big person, it's a big club, Manchester United, you get certain favors. Probably you can get certain favors done because it shouldn't be rocket science really for Amorim to get his work permit. So that's what's happening. That's the most recent update coming in concerning Manchester United and, of course, Amorim and his new work as Manchester United manager, or rather head coach. We've got to get used to the new title. It's no longer manager; it's head coach. He will be the head coach of Manchester United, not the manager. So that's what's going on. So Ruud van Nistelrooy will certainly now what is bound to happen in the coming weeks. This is what you should expect to happen in terms of events. Van Nistelrooy, we are assuming that Amorim has got his work permit. When he gets it, we may not know for now, but let's assume he has got it because he will definitely. When he gets it, right now what you should expect is for Ruud van Nistelrooy to work on a handover report that is going to give to to Amorim to give him a proper idea of how the club is, how the team is, the squad is at the point of him handing it over. It's good that Van Nistelrooy is going to be handing over a well motivated team, happy players, unbeaten in all the games with him in interim capacity, all but one are wins. So there is that energy and positivity that comes with being winning games of football. So the performance is exciting. The fans are happy. Amorim must have watched them and seen that the players are happy. He must be listening and reading the things we hear, perhaps texting a player or two, talking to Ugarte, giving him what's going on in the dressing room, what they say about him and stuff. So expect a handover report. You will get a proper idea of the players, who is fit and who isn't, of the personnel, getting to know the staff at the club. Of course, he was there as an intern under Jose Mourinho, but that's years ago. That's quite a number of years ago. Perhaps a lot has changed in there. And when that happened, Ineos were not in charge of the team. So there's a lot for him to come and be introduced to and acquaint himself with. So there's a proper handover that needs to go on. So this period of international break, even when he may not be already working as the manager and starting on the touchline to better instructions and guide players, he can use that period to get to meet the staff, be introduced to them, get to know the order of things. Maybe if he has got to work on new rules for the team, work on them. So interact with a few players maybe who will be there. So there is a lot for him to look through the facilities. Are they up to standard according to his expectations? So stuff like that. So there's a proper handover first, but then that acclimatization has got to go on before he's thrown into the deep end. So that's what you should expect in this period. So it's, I think, for me, sort of a blessing in disguise for him to have that, so that by the time these players all return from international duty and he's ready to take them through his first drills, they're certainly it's home. It's a bit home for him. The beauty, though, again, with Man United is that, yeah, even when he was last there as an intern in 2018, of course, United has for the longest time been known for holding on to employees for quite long. So probably many of the people he left there will still be in. I mean, by the time certain players are still there, should expect that certain people like receptionists and what have you, and the staff could mostly be the same. But of course, Ineos have changed quite a number of things. Brought in a lot of people, fired so many people, because when he was there, it was Richard Arnold and John Mata who were running things. They are not there. Of course, managers changed, so a lot has changed. Indeed, certain new players are in and stuff. So it will certainly be a bit of a new place, but there are certain people who will clearly be the same old folks that he dealt with. So it will be, I think, a good time for a young manager like him to establish, a young head coach like him to establish himself in there, and maybe even meet some of the legends of the club who are always there. Wayne Rooney is always at Carrington with his kid. I think his kid plays with one of the junior sides. Get to meet the academy players and see how they train, work with them, get to identify which academy kids might come and he would want to work with in the senior team, because managers do this a lot. He watches the academy and says, what, I want to check out this player in the senior team. So there's quite some bit of work that already he will be able to do when he touches down, even before he gets his official license. So there's quite a lot. So that's pretty much like it. That's the update I wanted to give you. My name is Webb. This is the United of Sport. Like, share, and subscribe. But don't you lose your energy, the excitement. Amorim is coming in. This is just protocol. The processes, the delays can be there, but they don't mean anything. They are not affecting anything. Amorim will be Man United manager in the coming hours.